Right? Yeah. All right, so first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And we out here once again. We're gonna get right into it. The before our mouth page got the backup page got a strike, so we're just gonna stream straight here. But yeah, real quick, let's start with that in Matthew 24 because oh yeah, 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 because ultimately, man, we've seen the things that have been going on this past week, and we know how these devils roll. Now, prior to this week, you had a couple of major things that have happened so far. They happened seemingly at random, right? You had not too long ago the whole Silicon Valley bank situation that jumped up into the mainstream media. Everybody was all up about it, and then it seemed like it calmed down. All right, and then they threw something else up in there, the white balloons and the China, and the so-called UFOs, and so on and so forth. And then that slowly got. They had the East Palestine train derailment situation, and the geniuses over there said, "Hey, let's burn the chemicals up into the air." Like, then recently, you just had that whole situation with they claimed there was wildfires um, that caused that smoke, to pollute the air, and they said it was the worst. It was the worst that it had ever been for New York in New York history. And the scriptures tell you that these devils, the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy. So these devils, not only are they persistently wicked. Okay, there we go. A second. Hey, Shalom. Let us know if you can hear us. Not only are they persistently wicked, but they're persistently evil. And they're conniving. All right? They're a bunch of high level demons, is what they are. But anyway, so I wouldn't put it past them, if they had some, maybe they trigger something in certain people who are taking that dragon juice, all right, based on something. Because everything has chemical reactions. So you don't know up until this day, you don't know what it is that was put inside of you. Okay. And so you don't know what could cause or trigger a reaction if it comes in contact with you. Because now technically you've been altered. If you take like you have chlorophyll, if you have a clear bottle of water, oh, man, you have a clear bottle of water, you drop 1 or 2 drops of chlorophyll in there, guess what? That water becomes tainted. That water gets changed to now look green, even if it's just one tiny drop. Okay, so it's the same thing. They put some shit up in you. Okay, not you, but you, and it's changing things up in there. So now you may be allergic to things that you didn't know you were allergic to before, you know, or whatever the case is. All right, well, so you can't hear us. Yeah, you can just disconnect. That's fine. We'll do it. Slack it. 1 second. Let me
Power off.
see if you can hear us now. All right, cool. Can you hear us? Something. Slack it. Hold on.
I think on StreamYard you can change the mic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Of doing.
Probably put the speaker, the output for the speaker, and then the input for the
Put a
mic.
mic right here.
I don't know if that would work.
Well, let's try it. Go ahead. Say something. Cool.
Connect it again.
Let's see. We're gonna get this thing working. All right. Okay. All right. I think I see what the problem is. No, that the mic is gonna be default, and then with the speaker, general. So I should go back audio. Can you hear us, Aharon? It's a little better than. Is it better than before? Okay. Let me just general. Audio. Oh shit. Hold on. Take us back into it and just make sure that it's no, I went back from StreamYard, so you gotta go back into StreamYard. Oh. It's like back into the history. Okay, we can go back into the all right, there we go. All right, let's see. Audio. All right, we good. We good? You can't hear? Okay, cool. No, let's pick this up. But hold on a second. Speak. There you go. Okay, so it's the mic. All right, cool.
Got 'em on there.
Yeah, we got that. We just gotta fix the mic now. Audio. Let's try speakerphone.
Yeah, I think that should do.
All right. Can you hear us now? No audio? It's better? But I don't know. I don't think this has a mic on it though.
No, did you try connecting the mic to that device? Did you press audio?
No, let me try that.
Yeah.
Let me try one more. Audio, Bluetooth headset. All right.
Let's see if that works.
All right.
Not then.
Cool. Can you hear us now? I'll run. I don't think he can hear us.
How long?
You hear us? Can you hear us? I'm saying something. Okay, he said he cannot hear us now. Let me see one more. Audio, Bluetooth headset, speakerphone. Yeah, I think it's StreamYard does it all in one. Yeah, so we're gonna need we just
Separate.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can disconnect it. You saw technology sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It's all right.
Try googling it later.
Yeah.
Around it.
Yeah. All right. We're just gonna do it the regular way. Do you hear us? There you go. All right. Nice. I'm gonna bring this forward a little bit. Right here. Cool. All right. Cool. So where were we? Right. So yeah, something you saw put something inside of you, right? Through this juice, and okay, through this juice, and you don't know what could cause a reaction. You don't know, and it could be 6 months, it could be 7, 8 months. You don't know, right? So you gotta be careful. So who knows if with whatever thing was up in here, they said it was from wildfires, but yeah, okay, they said a lot. They've said lots of things that aren't true, So we know how this devil rolls. But anyway, the point is, you ain't gonna deceive the Lord's elect. We got our eyes open. You go ahead.
On Instagram, I saw from a fellow brother, I saw 2 videos go up. There was one where there was a helicopter spearing, pouring some like reddish, yellowish substance on the where the fires was at, and then another time there was these jakes where it was raining while the smoke was in the air, and there was white stuff on the ground in the rain.
Yep. And I recorded that. I was telling Haran, I looked out my window and I thought it was hail because it was white coming down. And I realized, no, it wasn't hail. It was actually rain that was just white. So it looked thicker. And I was like, oh, shit. Since when did rain come out looking white like this? And it wasn't like cloudy, dark. None of that. It was just like white rain coming down. So you know that's water mixed with chemicals. Now, Dabu 7 did a video and he was saying that people from Canada, from that area, were messaging him, showing videos like, yo, look, I'm right here. Look at the sky. They don't ain't nothing crazy going on here. So, the thing about it is 2 things, right? Esau now, he's to the point where he's like, yo, I could really just say whatever and they're gonna believe it, they're gonna eat it up. Nobody's really gonna go ahead and do that thorough investigation and say, wait, how come in Canada the skies are clear, over here the skies are wild? Oh, the wind direction, it was just pushing it this way. And those that do take the time and go and do that, who's gonna really believe them? So that's pretty much how Esau set himself up to where you got the average individual now. They're beyond gone. And that's now we're about to see the really outrageous shit come out more and more because Esau's at the point where he's like, these people are primed well enough for me to come out and say whatever the hell I want to say. and do whatever the hell I want to do, and it's gonna be okay. You know?
If I may mention, look at the transformer thing. They're blatantly bringing it out into the schools where they're just letting these weirdo, these 6 foot, 250 pound, broly looking men come up near your children talking about, hey, come embrace me and touching up your child like that.
Shit.
So it's like they're already showing where they're already leading it. Sorry, spoilers. I didn't watch the movie, but I've seen like some clips. But the new Spider-Man movie, it's kind of pointing to what's the name, Spider-Man.
Mhm.
They were saying trans lives matter. They were promoting that in the movie.
As in the days of Noah, man. As in the days of Noah. You got it. Let's bring out that precept. And pretty much they're trying to eliminate righteousness and condition the world to believe that there is no such thing as right and wrong. You know, and really they're trying to flip everything. And it's so crazy because I remember back in high school, during health class, they played a video, and I think it was dealing with like bullying or whatever. And the whole concept was to try and show you how the alphabet community feels. And so in this video, the world was flipped to where heterosexuals were treated as, were looked at as outcasts. So you had a dude and a girl, kids and shit, and they kissed, and they were being bullied at school for that. They were being made fun of. I think the dude had two moms, and one of them was like the tough mom, the other one was a soft mom. They called his house. They said, "Yo, your son was seen with this chick, and he's having a heterosexual relationship and shit." And the moms are like spazzing out. They're like, "What the hell? What do you think you're doing?" And all this X, Y, and Z. We've taught you better than this. I'm like, what the fuck? So everything was pretty much flipped. They were chasing them, harassing them, bullying them for being straight. Now, when you look at society now, and back then, you would have thought, damn, I mean, this shit sounds crazy, but it would be crazy if something like that actually happened. And fast forward a couple more years, and guess what? You're looking all around you, and you're like, what the hell is going on? You got people that that community is taking over, and then those that are not necessarily, alphabet, but they're down with it, they basically joining the crowd on them too. So anybody that's willing to actually stand up for righteousness and say, yo, this shit is off. What the hell is this shit? Like you were saying, if they can tie in their rights with perverting your children and unify it as one, then if you go to stand up and say what you're doing is not appropriate for kids, they'll say, oh, are you coming at me because I am X, Y, and Z? There you go. So if you stand up for righteousness, you have to focus.
Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
So the scriptures tell you that being a sodomite is evil, and that their blood is going to be upon their heads. That's an abomination to the Lord. But in this society, they say no, it's okay. As a matter of fact, it's so okay that we're going to travel to African countries and go and tell them why it's okay and why they should repeal laws that are against it. But so is your law? Are your words more divine than the law of the Most High? Because the book of Leviticus, was that 20 and 13, is a divine law that you're not supposed to. A man is not supposed to deal with another man as he deals with a woman. That's a divine law. So these devils going around. That is a perfect example of that. They're calling good evil. So if you speak up for righteousness, there was a video of a Christian who got, I think, a Christian pastor, street pastor, who got arrested because he was reading some scriptures at a proud event or whatever they call it. And they basically arrested his ass. And then I forgot what state it was, but they're basically saying they're gonna make it so the Bible is not, it's no way it's not allowed in certain schools, at certain age groups. And they're always targeting the kids. Why are they doing that?
I believe it was Utah. That's the state that was trying to ban the scriptures because they said that it was too violent or something shit like that.
That's it.
And just to add on real quick, that's why in the book of Psalm, the 82nd chapter tells you. Let me get it real quick. All right, it's the book of Psalm, chapter 82, and verse 5. It says, "They know not, neither will they understand." Right? In the book of Daniel, it tells you that none of the wicked shall understand. Right? The book of Isaiah tells you that the people are in darkness, gross darkness, the people. So the darkness is talking about the ignorance of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which ultimately goes into something known as knowledge. All right, knowledge simply goes into the word scientia, which means to know. To know what? To know of the Heavenly Father's existence and what He's requiring people to do. Okay, that is knowledge. That is when you actually want to go into the real concept of what knowledge is. Knowledge simply means the acknowledgement of the Creator, the Heavenly Father Himself. Okay, and if you acknowledge His creator, the Creator, then you acknowledge His creation. And if you acknowledge His creation, then you acknowledge the things that you're supposed to do with His creation. Okay, so continue in Psalm chapter 82 and verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Okay, America is a foundation that is out of course. That is why the things that they do seem to be opposite from life. You know, when you first come from a different country, predominantly you come from a Jake country that's outside of America, and you come over here at a young age, you start to see certain things that just doesn't make sense. You know, everything is backwards. This is the land where you see the most rebelliousness, man. You know, you got children who don't understand the concept of authority, right? They don't understand what's that? The book of what's that? Second Peter, all right, the second chapter where it talks about what they despise government. Okay, so they don't understand ordinances, man. They don't understand the order of how things are supposed to be. Okay, that's why the scriptures gives us something known as discernment. Okay, discernment to know what's good and what's evil. And then when you go into the good side, your ability to choose the best out of the good, that's discernment. Okay, and a lot of people are lacking that discernment. And when you bring it up to them and say, hey, what you're doing is evil, they're just like Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, the reason why the Lord brought the flood to destroy the first world was because of what people are doing just like today. You know, like you were saying before, the concept of evil is no longer in existence. You know, they want to do away with that concept where people could just do whatever, and then that makes us the problem because we have laws, statutes, and commandments that we have to uphold. So when we come up and say, well, our God of the Bible says that sodomy is not acceptable, you can't do that, they'll look at you like, well, in our country, our God does not believe in that. There is no evil in this country. You can do whatever you want. You know, you could be a child and want to be a man tomorrow. You know, you want to be a woman and turn to a man, or a man and turn to a woman. You can do that. You know, that's why this place is known as Babylon. Okay, I just saw a video yesterday of this guy. It was a female who became a man, and he's been a man for the past 8 years, so called, right? And he was crying. The bitch ass nigga was crying, saying that, oh, you know, he's starting to realize how hard it is to be a man, and it's such a lonely world and all this shit. You motherfucker, you man. You see? Now you gotta stay, all right, in that body, all right, that captive body that the Lord has put you in, because you're confused and you gotta be destroyed. And nobody feels bad for niggas like that. You know, he's weeping and shit, crying, wiping his tears like a bitch. You know, talking about, oh, you know, I didn't know that this how bad it is, and you know, people need to check in because men are lonely. Men are lonely. What do you think this is? Hey man, you got it, brother.
Nah, you're right, man. He basically trying to push that soft spirit. You know, you gonna jump into our world, talk about we lonely. Nigga, who invited you over here? You know, take your ass back. Matter of fact, jump into that fire, because it's funny we're talking about this. And I just got an article, breaking news notification. It says software VP fired for using assigned by God as preferred pronoun, and he's suing the employer. So how is it that somebody can say their preferred pronoun, they clearly look like an Ayash, and they say their preferred pronoun is an Ayasha, and everybody's fine with it, right? But then dude says his preferred pronoun is assigned by God, and he gets fired for that? How? What preferred pronoun? The key word is preferred. So if he prefers for his pronoun to be known as assigned by God, how you gonna fire him for that? You see, so these devils are very biased, man. And when it comes to freedom, it's only subjective to whatever they want. Freedom, so long as you have freedom to do wicked, okay, that's fine. But whenever you say anything else, that's not okay. There was a video of a guy who was basically saying, he said he identifies, he was a black dude, black man. He still identifies as a white lesbian. And there was a woman there filming him saying, you can't do that. You can't do that. He said, what you mean I can't do that? I feel like a white lesbian. Why can't I identify as a white lesbian? She said, no, because that's not right. And he said, wait a minute. You can identify as whatever you want, right? He, her, they can do that. But I say that I'm a white lesbian, so an Edomite male can say no, he's a black female, or he just identifies as non-binary. What the fuck is that shit? That's okay. He just identifies as genderless. That's okay. But I say I'm a white lesbian, that's not okay. How? You know, rock a thought. So hypocrisy, it's straight hypocrisy, man. That shit makes absolutely no sense. But that's why this place is gonna go up in flames. Right. That's that?
Hey, well, I was going to add to your point. They green light wickedness and they red light righteousness. Anything that somewhat resembles righteousness, they're going to cut it off. But anything where you have the freedom, but it's really the freedom to be wicked.
Yep.
Because everybody else can do everything, but don't be this. Don't be an Israelite. Don't call out the small hats. If you're in that category, that's not allowed. Everything else is a go.
That's it. Free for all. And that's why this place is gonna get the judgment that it's gonna get. Because this is worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. You know? If Sodom and Gomorrah was the child, this is the adult that grew up in those ways. That's what America is. America, you have ancient Egypt, which is like a youth compared to America. America's like the OG in that shit. Born and raised, purebred, demon.
Stuff on top. Yep. Revelation chapter 18, verse 1.
Matter of fact, before you start that, let's get real quick Isaiah 3 and 9. They declared the sin of Sodom. So they declare it. They make it known. This is what we're about. In fact, if you're not aware, let me come to your country and let me make you aware of what we're about, so you can be about it too. And that's why the scriptures say that she spread the wine of her fornication. She intoxicated the rest of the inhabitants of the world. Save us. We don't want to drink that shit. We smack that cup out of the way. We're not interested in that. We're drinking of the cup of righteousness. We're supping with Yahushua. Matter of fact, let's get that too. Revelation 3 and 20. So yeah, 64 too. Okay, fine, beautiful. So let's bring out Isaiah, Revelation, Psalms, and then jump back into Revelation. You got it.
This is Isaiah 3 and 9. The show of their countenance doth witness against them.
Now, the countenance is the appearance. So if you see, sometimes you see a scripture like real quick, DeBar, let's go to the book of Nehemiah and let's check the first chapter. We'll read a little bit about that just to get to that point about countenance. I believe it's in there. Should be in there. But we're gonna find out. That's what we do. 2 is it? Nehemiah 2. Yeah, that's it. Actually, Nehemiah 2nd chapter. Matter of fact, no. So that's the first chapter. We're going to get into the second, from first to second. Get all the meat off that bone. You got to get those spiritual nutrients. There's some scriptures in there that, sometimes it's been a while. You got to bring them up. You ain't going to make it in time. You like that? You want to disturb the peace? Somebody gonna catch him in the basement and just how the CIA torture methods, they put them headphones to your ear and they just play loud noise all the way. There's actual torture methods that way where they put you in an area where it's just continuous loud noise. You can't sleep, you can't do anything, you're not fed, and you're just being bombarded with loud noises. That's what you're gonna do. Things like that.
2, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, you hear a whole bunch of yelling and screaming and music. You try to get to sleep, you gotta wake up at 6 o'clock. You hear, fuck you, Tariq. Hey, I ain't like you. That's what you gotta do. Like, what the fuck is this? Your next door neighbor playing a whole bunch of damn loud ass music. It's like,
Yep. Especially in the summertime too.
Yeah.
They open them damn fire hose and wasting water and shit. Man, Jake, a bunch of niggas. And we hate niggas. We do not like niggas. Niggas are they are a problem. They're like a stain that you're trying to scrub off, and they're just not coming up. That one stain that's like, you tried to, nigga, I ain't coming off this plate. You know what I'm saying? That's these niggas. You got different kinds of sponges. And so the Lord's gonna use that fire. You gonna purge that shit off. That's what he needs to do. So niggas are really like a stain on a plate, and the plate represents the earth. So how's the Lord gonna get it off? It ain't with a sponge, and it ain't with soap. He's gonna use fire, a little small torch, and he's gonna torch that shit so it comes off. And then you can wipe it clean. So that's what's gonna happen to you. That's what you niggas are. Nehemiah
for?
found it?
No.
Can't find it? Nehemiah 2, second chapter. Well, actually, you start the first chapter. You know, but pretty much that's what the Lord's going to do. You know, it's got a lot of unrighteous. Here it is. Like you said, you can't even get some peace. It's just Jake they just so obnoxious. They just love that loudness. You know, like, bro, calm down. You don't got to be loud every day. You know, chill out, man. That's why the Lord instituted something like a Sabbath. Calm your ass down. No, you can start the first verse in the first chapter. We're gonna read to the second chapter. You know, so going back to Isaiah, it talks about the covenants, right? So let's read that.
No, I got Nehemiah.
Yeah, Nehemiah.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, verse 1.
You gotta know that history. You gotta know who was Nehemiah, what was going on at the time of Nehemiah. And typically in these kinds of books, at the first few verses of the first chapter, it tells you a bit of context as to who was the king and around what time period this is going on. It's like when they record certain information, they let you know at the beginning what was the situation that was going on at this time. You know, at the time when Trump got elected president. You know, shortly after that, this X, Y, and Z happened, and then the world changed. See, they give you a bit of context. Let's get that.
Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hachaliah, and it came to pass in the month Chislev, in the 20th year, I was in Shushan, the palace.
Which is in Persia. Okay. And today, when you look it up in the secular history, they call it Susa. Go on.
I'm saying his name right. That Hanani, one of my brethren, came, and he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that escaped.
So that escaped, right? Because Nehemiah was at the time of Artaxerxes. Matter of fact, can we look up Nehemiah? Yeah, just look him up on Wiki, see what they give us on him. So Nehemiah was at the time of Artaxerxes. Now, I believe you had Cyrus, Cambyses, which was his son, and then what's this guy's name? Bardia, and then Darius, which they called a usurper or whatnot. But anyway, Darius, it was during Darius's time that the temple was fully rebuilt. Okay, now remember, when the Babylonians came in there, they destroyed the temple and the walls. Jerusalem was not just a temple. Jerusalem is a city, a sanctuary city. In order to get into Jerusalem, just like Jericho, you had these massive walls. It was like a fortress. It was a defense city, and it was on a hill. So that's why a lot of people feared. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons those counselors sent messages back to Cambyses to say, yo, don't let these guys rebuild, because if they rebuild that fortress, you're going to have trouble. So when the Babylonians besieged Jerusalem, the reason it took years was because they first had to destroy the walls, and then they invaded the city, destroyed the city, and then pillaged the village, destroyed the temple, and basically burnt the temple. So the temple got destroyed. The walls were destroyed. The city was destroyed. So when Cyrus came up into power, the Lord put the spirit on it. Let's get that real quick. Give me Isaiah, what's that? 45 and 1. Let's start at 44 in the last verse, and then we'll go into 45 and 1. Right? So the Lord put the spirit, the Lord put the spirit on Cyrus to what? Rebuild the temple. Now, obviously, Cyrus didn't, get that, give me that, he basically gave the order to allow us to return. Because we were captives in Babylon, but the Babylonians got taken over by the Medo-Persians. More so the Persians, the Achaemenid Empire. And Cyrus was that ruler. So when he came up into power around, 530 BC, that's when the Lord put the spirit on him to say, okay, you can all return. And as a matter of fact, when you're done with this, let's also open up a new tab and look up the Cyrus cylinder. That's it. That's the spirit. And that the Cyrus cylinder is an actual historical artifact of proof that Cyrus gave out that order, because it wasn't just the Israelites that were allowed to return to their own land. Specifically, we were to go and rebuild the temple, but Cyrus also gave a decree to let basically others that were forcefully taken and brought into this land to be allowed to go back to their lands. And that's on the Cyrus cylinder. So let's get that real quick.
Isaiah, starting from chapter 44, verse 28. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all pleasures, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built.
Right. So Cyrus, he is my shepherd, does not make Cyrus any special. It just means that the Lord chose him to do a certain job. That's all it does. So even saying what? Jerusalem shall be rebuilt. Because Cyrus was the man that was going to give the order to allow us to return to Jerusalem from captivity and start rebuilding again. Go ahead.
And to the temple thy foundation shall be laid.
So we were going to rebuild the temple and Jerusalem because the temple was in Jerusalem. Go on.
Right? This chapter 45, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden.
So you got people that get tripped up over that. Oh, it says his anointed. Well, what's that mean? Cyrus, what's that? What? No, it just means that that Cyrus was chosen to do that particular job. He was the man for the job. So really, if you think about it, the Lord set it up for Cyrus' condition to be that way, for him to be that specific king to do that job. Because historically, they'll tell you Cyrus wasn't he wasn't like, you know, some of the main other kings. He was more calm, you know, a more chill, mellow kind of guy. Go on.
Right? To subdue nations before him. To subdue nations before him, and I will loose the loins of kings to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gate shall not be shut.
All right, that was in the first verse.
Yeah.
Cool. So we got the main point. The Lord put the spirit on Cyrus to be the one to give us the order to return back. All right. So now let's go from there to Nehemiah, right? That's it. Before Nehemiah, let's read that Cyrus cylinder. Come back again.
If I may add a quick point, what the brother read, that was a prophet from Isaiah, and that's proof of the prophetic truth of the Bible, because that's a prophecy that already got fulfilled.
Yep.
Cyrus came and did exactly what the Lord had Isaiah say that he was going to do, and he mentioned him by name way before Cyrus was even around.
Yep, about 100 and some more years before Cyrus was even on the scene.
Sure. This is the Cyrus cylinder from Wikipedia. It says the Cyrus cylinder is an ancient clay cylinder now broken into several pieces, on which is written an Achaemenid royal inscription in Akkadian cuneiform script in the name of Persian King Cyrus the Great. It dates from the 6th century BC and was discovered
within the five something. Whenever you're 530, 580, that's 6th century. On.
And was discovered in the ruins of the ancient Mesopotamian city of Babylon.
Of course, because that's where he was at. Go on.
Now in modern Iraq in 1879.
Is there anything about where it talks about how he let the people shows you the contents of the cylinder? Find some of that. And these are all historical artifacts. Now, that's why when you watch the History Channel, a lot of them, when you hear about the history, a lot of them make reference to the scriptures. A lot of the episodes they have go into the Bible. Oh, and they went here, and they went here, and they excavated this. And why that? Because they a lot of historians are to the point where they're like, damn, I can't even be an atheist because this shit is just true. You know? Like it's just facts. That's why it says the fool has said in his heart there is no God.
It says here, the cylinder's text has traditionally been seen by biblical scholars as corroborative evidence of Cyrus's policy of the repatriation of the Jewish people following their Babylonian captivity, an act that the book of Ezra attributes to Cyrus, as the text refers to the restoration of cult sanctuaries and repatriation of deported people.
That's it. So we were deported out of our land, right? And so we were allowed to go back and to rebuild the temples and Jerusalem. All right. So now let's go back to Nehemiah where we were. What did you have? Okay. Yeah, we read that. That's good. Should I get that? We didn't finish. We'll come back to that.
Again, this is Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Achaliah, and it came to pass in the month Chislev, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hanani, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that escaped.
So escape, right? So that's what took us to the time of Cyrus. Escape because they were allowed to return back, right? So he asked them concerning, okay, well, what's the update? You know, what's going on? How is Jerusalem right now? Go on.
Which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. And they said unto me, the remnant they are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach.
Mhm.
The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept.
So when he heard the state of Jerusalem, he mourned, he wept, because he's like, damn, you know, we've been allowed to go back and rebuild, but shit, what the hell? Because at this time the walls were still down. Now you had Cyrus, Cambyses, Bardia, Darius, which it was during Darius's time that the temple was complete. But after him, you had Xerxes, which you read about in the book of Esther, right? Ahasuerus, the husband of Esther, that was who we know as Xerxes in the movie 300. And then following him, you had his son Artaxerxes, and that's the time that we're in now with Nehemiah. Okay, I believe the king at the time was Artaxerxes, which you could read about over there.
It says, Book of Nehemiah narrative, this is according to Wikipedia, it says, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the first, 445 or 444 BC, Nehemiah was the cupbearer to the king.
Yep. And that wasn't, you know, today you hear that, you know, and you may think, oh, he was a cupbearer and try to laugh at it, but a cupbearer was a very high position because you were in the king's court. You were taken care of. You were good, you know, and you were trusted, almost like a courtier. Go on.
Learning that the remnant of Jews in Judah were in distress and that the walls of Jerusalem were broken down, he asked the king for permission to return and rebuild the city. Around 20 years after Ezra's arrival in Jerusalem in 468 BC.
Yeah, because when you read about it, Ezra was contemporaries with Nehemiah. All right. Go on. Now, the reason Ezra went back is because when the temple was built, you had Jake that was still going off. And Ezra was a priest. He was from the line of Aaron. So he went back to basically set Jake back in order. Okay? Was on that?
A little bit more. It says, Artaxerxes sent him to Judah as governor of the province with a mission to rebuild, letters explaining his support for the venture and provision for timber from the king's forest.
Yeah, because at this time, though we had some level of autonomy to return, the jurisdiction still belonged to the Achaemenid Empire, which was to our benefit because then they could say, hey, I'm giving Nehemiah permission to go here to govern the land, give him X, Y, and Z, everything he needs to do what he got to do, because I said so. One.
And it says, once there, Nehemiah defied the opposition of Judah's enemies on all sides, Samaritans, Ammonites, Arabs, and Philistines.
Yeah, and you read about it during the time of Nehemiah is when we rebuilt the walls. And that's when you had to have a weapon on you, but you also had the building material. So you be building, but at the same time, you're ready. So if them Ammonites or them Samaritans, I believe one of them is called Sanballat, sound like a fat Moabite, but if any of them try to attack us, we were ready for war. You know, so that's why the scriptures talk about the wall shall be built even in troublous times.
Hammer in one hand and a sword in the other. It says, and rebuilt the walls within 52 days. Yeah, just finishing off, it says, and rebuilt the walls within 52 days from the sheep gate in the north, the Hananel tower at the northwest corner, the fish gate in the west, the furnaces tower at the Temple Mount southwest corner.
So when you hear that, right, the fish gate and all that, that's those are just terms for the areas. Like today you have like west side, upper west side, you know, south, whatever, right? Downtown, like we call it. So when you read scriptures like Zephaniah 1 and 10, it talks about there shall be a howling from the fish gate, you know, a crying from the fish gate, and a howling from the second is referring to the locations. Right?
It says the dung gate in the south, the east gate, and the beneath the golden gate in the east.
Now let's go back here.
Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 4. And it came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days.
Shows you how much they cared back then. See, the prophets always cared. You know, it was just these wicked Israelites that didn't give a damn. Couldn't see that the prophets were here to help you. Go on.
And fasted and prayed before the God of heaven.
Mhm.
And said, I beseech thee, Yahweh, God of heaven, the great and terrible God,
Mhm.
that keepeth covenants and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. Let thine ear now be attentive and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned.
Says like what? Idolatry, adultery, murder, theft, defrauding. All of these things Jake were doing. Defiling the Sabbath, offering up polluted sacrifices. Jake was doing all these things. That's when Nehemiah went back. Why do you think it was that he had to whoop certain Israelites' asses? Plucking beards. You know what I mean? Nehemiah got physical. So you know he wasn't a man to play around, and he had the right to do it. Because what, you gonna come after him? That Artaxerxes would have had your head on a freaking silver platter. You know? La plata. You know, so anyway, he let me tell you something. You know, so that's what Nehemiah was doing. He caught these things that come here. You know, dudes trying to buy and sell on the Sabbath. What's wrong with you? You had the clients or the merchants. They're like, oh yeah, we got these guys every day. They're pulling up to the gates. He's like, yo, shut that shit down. Close the gates. You know, we ain't allowing nobody in here on the Sabbath. So he really put in that work, and that's why in the book of Nehemiah, he specifically asked the Lord. He said, oh Lord, remember the things that I've done for Israel this day. Because these people, they're hard people to love. You know?
Yeah, that rebellious Jake spirit has been since even in the wilderness.
Yep.
Remember when they were so rebellious that Aaron had to give in to them. You know, and when Moses came down and basically he was getting at Aaron, what did Aaron say? He said, yo, you know how these people are. You know, I've been trying so hard to hold it down while you were gone. But I got to a point where I'm just fed up. Every day is somebody coming up with some new shit about how they want to go off. I can't keep fighting that shit with myself, Paul. So then I said, give me all your damn, earrings and damn whatever piercings you got on you, water, gold and all that shit. Bring that shit. And I said something up to you so you can fuck up, and got all of his stuff. But that idolatry, that's why the Bible stated that. Us and our fathers have sinned against the Heavenly Father. And the number one sin is what? Breaking the first commandment, which is, ye shall have no other God beside me. Right? And Jake is always breaking that first commandment, because breaking that first commandment, you break all of them. Because the moment you have another God, it comes with different laws. It comes with a set of commandments that you keep, rituals and so on and so forth, that goes contrary to our laws. You see? So the moment you turn your back to your house, shy, you're in the way of darkness and them. It is what it is. And Jake is known for doing that. That's why this truth is known as the light. That's why your house is also known as what? The light. Because it's through him that we gain the understanding of what the Lord is actually expecting us to do. So we can turn away from our wicked ways, like our forefathers were doing, that got us into this condition in the first place, which we are forefathers coming back. All right, but now we have the understanding of right and wrong. We've officially had the fruit of knowledge, the fruit of knowledge of good and evil.
That's it.
But you got it.
That's it. Yep.
Referencing what you said earlier about Jake being that stain.
Yeah, dirty ass thing.
Malachi 3:2. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness.
There you go. So the Lord's going to purify us. It says Levi, but it's really referring to us. It's metaphorical. But the Lord's going to purify us. That means he's going to need to really burn these niggas. That's why it says, if we can find that real quick, it's in the book of Ezekiel. I think it's 28. But the Lord says, I will leave you there and I will melt you.
when he talks about, huh?
Is that on Zechariah? Or is that Ezekiel?
I think it's Ezekiel where he talks about I'm gonna leave you in the fire and melt you, and that's what the Lord's gonna do, because a lot of these dudes are off. I was watching a video earlier on our way here that the first one we watched was by the elder brother Karatas out from Vegas, and the other one was by the elder brother Mwanga Bar, and it was basically on the ISUPK that video called PSA to all my niggas, and you can only imagine what was in that video. Straight up nigga shit, all the way, straight up nigga shit. And then the guy comes at the end and says, he comes up to the camera, he's like, see this right here? This all nigga shit. You know? Ain't nothing wrong with it. I love my niggas. I would never arrest one of my niggas. You know? God loves these niggas. And then you're gonna have some dumbass that pops up talking about, we serve the nigga God. And I'm like, straight. So, and then they say, oh, he said, this is all we know. So they admitted to the fact that they're niggas openly, and they're saying that it's okay to be a nigga. And if you a nigga, come join us in the niggerhood. You know, it ain't a brotherhood, it's a niggerhood. And when you come in here, we're gonna teach you the nigga ways. So you know what the Lord's gonna do to you? The Lord. That's why it says that. Let's find that in Ezekiel. Water. The Lord is going to purge the niggerism out of the nation of Israel, because they openly admit that they're niggas, and the Lord ain't dealing with niggas. Niggas irritate us. Okay? Go ahead.
Ezekiel 22:17, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross.
There you go. You have become dross, because the Lord didn't create us to be niggas. The Lord created us to be righteous, stand-up individuals, to be an example, to be the top nation. But right now, we're at the bottom. Why? Go ahead.
All they are brass and tin and iron and lead.
Uh-huh.
In the midst of the furnace,
Mhm.
they are even the dross of silver.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh.
So they're degenerate. So what does the Lord say?
Because ye are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem.
Mhm.
As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it to melt it.
That's right.
So will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you.
And what ultimately, where is that going to be? That's going to be here, in the lake of fire. The Lord is going to have you wicked individuals in here, and that fire is going to melt you away. And then it ain't. And hope to God, it ain't. You better hope that it's a quick death, but it ain't going to be, because the Lord said what? He's going to leave you there and he's going to melt you, right?
It says, yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath.
Of my wrath, for your disobedience, for your wickedness, for your niggerisms. Go on.
And ye shall be melted in the midst thereof.
The Lord is going to melt you in the middle of the fire, the hottest part. Go on.
As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace,
Mhm.
so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof,
Mhm.
and ye shall know
Mhm.
that I, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, have poured out my fury upon you.
So when you're in the fire, you're going to understand through that pain. The same must know it after death by pain, right? You're going to understand through that pain, this is what the wrath of the Lord feels like. This is why we can't be niggas anymore, because this shit hurts. It ain't fun. And Lord willing, we are the elect. We're going to be rejoicing, thanking the Lord. And we ain't even going to try to even look your way. We're going to hear the screams. You're going to think, oh, the second the missile hit, poof, I just got eviscerated, and I open my eyes, and I'm a brand new baby in the kingdom chilling with a crown on my head. No. The Lord can make it feel like eternity up in that fire. You wondering, what the fuck? My body's damn near gone, you know, and I'm still feeling it. The Lord can, matter of fact, there's something interesting about the human brain, which is perception of time. Time stays the same. It's constant. It's always moving. However, how we perceive time constantly changes. When you're having fun, there's a saying, time flies when you're having fun, right? 2 hours feels like nothing. When you get a new video game come out, 2 hours feels like 2 minutes. Versus when you are in a difficult or painful or uncomfortable situation where 2 hours feels like 4 hours. But it's still the same 2 hours. It just feels different because of your perception. So it's a light thing for the Lord to have you in that fire. And it could literally just be a second. But for you, he can slow your perception of it while heightening your pain senses. And literally, as
It's almost like you're burning in slow motion. To you, to us, it's like that. But to you, you're just burning in slow motion, feeling every bit of that pain. The Lord can easily do that to you, man. You gotta fear Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. So niggas are gonna be destroyed. That's the end of that. Couple more verses. All right.
And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man,
What's precept with this?
Ezekiel 22 and 23.
All right.
Son of man, say unto her, Thou art the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation.
Mm-hmm.
There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
Yep. So basically, instead of you doing your job as it was ordained, basically you just doing whatever, you know, taking away from the right and turning it into the wrong. Go ahead.
Neither have they shewed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profaned among them.
Hear that? You can have sex on the Sabbath. You hiding your eyes from the Sabbath in terms of not honoring it. So really, what's the difference between the Sabbath and the regular day? You know, how do you keep it holy? You don't. A lot of them don't. And they're trying to justify it. That's nigga behavior. Nigga behavior. What?
Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves, ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls and to get dishonest gain.
Yeah, that's that spirit of, you know, rah. We just want to get into it. You know, whatever it is, you come up, we're gonna get physical with it. Carnality, we preach spirituality, but carnality is really where it's at. Like Kendrick Lamar made that song about DNA. These guys have niggas in their DNA. So that's just them. And that's why the Lord's gonna need to burn them down to the molecular level and rearrange that DNA with some fire.
IURC had that guy they called the pocket. That's that dishonest gain too.
Yep.
It says, and her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity and divining lies unto them, saying, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when Yahweh hath not spoken.
So they're claiming to be men of the Lord, claiming to speak the words of the Lord, but the Lord ain't speaking to them. Okay? What he's doing is he's making them a public example of what not to be. So when the judgment comes, the records are all there. We all saw what you did and what you continue to do. I mean, waxing worse and worse. What?
The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully.
Yeah, which a lot of this applies to Esau now, but it still applies to Jake anyway, because they do it on some level. Go on.
And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none.
Yep. They're just a bunch of niggas.
Therefore have I poured out mine indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompensed upon their heads, saith the Lord Yahweh.
Yep. So see, the Most High, what he did is this time he ain't doing the Egypt time. He ain't bringing everybody out. And number two, the Lord said, you know what? I'm going to preordain those that will be saved from the beginning. So in this time, I'm only bringing judgment. I'm not coming to pick and choose out of here. No, I already know who's exempt. Everybody else is fair game.
Oh, no, I was going to mention, just to give some edification on the word degenerate, like Dr. Zion always mentions, because when people use the word degenerate, they use it in maybe like a derogatory term, like, oh, you're a piece of shit, which, yeah, these guys are acting like pieces of shit, but really go into the word degenerate, D meaning back, and G going into the gene. So what? Some of our people, right, by living here in America, have gone back or gone away from the ways of their forefathers. So that's why they say things like, you can have sex on the Sabbath. Where did the Lord say through the prophet Jeremiah, I plan to be a noble vine, right? The Heavenly Father created us to be a certain way. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose of the wilderness, right? That was to cultivate society that the way the Heavenly Father wanted. But what? Through the process of time here in America, now you have this wayward cultivation of niggas. So what do niggas do? Niggas cultivate other niggas. Niggas teach how to be other niggas. Fuck slack you, but fuck another man's wife. Be a nigga. That's why he said, like you were saying, we serve the black God.
The nigga God.
Oh, slack it, the nigga God. That's what you call the Most High, a nigga? The Heavenly Father's not a nigga.
He hates niggas.
Really, when you read the scriptures, it really teaches you how the Heavenly Father, because all the things that the Heavenly Father teaches you how to not be, it's really the Heavenly Father teaching you, don't be a nigga, because I don't like these type of things. When you read like Proverbs, those books of wisdom of Psalms, it's teaching you how not to be a nigga, because the Heavenly Father doesn't like it. It pisses him off.
And that's why we get pissed off, because we got that spirit. Let's go back to Nehemiah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that point right there that you made, because ultimately we know what the scriptures say about what's going to happen to those who disobey Yahushua, right? There's a reason why the Apostle Paul talked about being fully persuaded in your mind, right? Because the teachings are out there. You have other groups that are out there saying their own thing, but ultimately we know that we have the truth, which is inspired by Yahushua. The faith that we have in this truth is inspired by Yahushua. See, so you have this group, this reprobate camp that says what they said, which we also, all right, the whole nigga shit. Well, the scriptures say something about that, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 9. It says, know therefore that the Lord Yahweh thy power, he is God, the faithful power, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. All right? And a perfect precept that is book of Galatians, chapter 6, and verse 7, it says, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. What those guys were doing was a form of mockery, man. Because you know the right thing. You know what you're doing and saying is not biblical. If you call yourself an Israelite, why the hell would you call yourself a nigga? The same exact very thing that we're teaching our people not to be, man. Do you know what comes with the concept of being a nigga? It comes with death. All right, it comes with destruction. It comes with disobedience. It comes with what? Rebellion. Okay. It comes with wickedness. Okay, ungodliness, and we know what the scriptures say about what the Lord is going to do to those who are ungodly, man. Okay, so it says what? Be not deceived, for the Most High is not mocked. So whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap, man. So you going around calling yourself a nigga? Guess what? The Lord got judgment for niggas. Okay, he got judgment for the niggas, man. So you call yourself a nigga? Guess what? You gonna get a nigga judgment, man. Okay, and we know the judgment that the Lord be given to niggas is the most crazy of judgments, man. You know, and it's worse for those who know that they're Israelites and going around calling themselves niggas. Like, well, why? Why? It says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life everlasting. That's what we're doing. Okay? We're sowing to what? We're sowing the spirit. We're sowing of the spirit, so we shall reap what? Life everlasting. Okay, this truth is in the spirit, man. Okay, so I just want to bring that out real quick. It was just on my spirit, man. These people, man, hey, shit.
They're gone. They're gone, man. They're gone. Anyway, let's go back to Nehemiah.
Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 7. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which thou commandest thy servant Moses. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. But if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power,
And this is Nehemiah praying, basically beseeching the Lord after hearing the news of the condition of Israel. Go on.
and by thy strong hand. O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants, who desire to fear thy name. And prosper, I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man, for I was the king's cupbearer.
Yep. Go on. So he was basically asking for mercy, for the nation of Israel. Today, Jake is so individualistically minded, they don't give a damn about anything but themselves.
That's what but that's what America is taught, individualism. Everybody, like I was talking to this brother about earlier before camp, everybody has that individualistic mindset where they just want their slice of the pie here in America. They don't care about the nation, seeing how people, because I heard all the time, folks, Caribbean chicks, they'll say, what's wrong with niggas? Why are people like this? Well, first of all, not to sound cheesy, but like Michael Jackson said, man in the mirror, you gotta look at yourself and see what the fuck is wrong with your nation. It starts with you. What is that? I think that's also in the book of Jeremiah. It says, my wicked people are over my people and they love to have it so, roughly paraphrasing that. So you like to have niggas, just like we was talking about the the ISUPK, is that it? Right. I love my niggas. I'll never snitch on them. No, the scriptures tell you gotta snitch on them if they're doing some bullshit. And really, if you think about it, they snitched on themselves by doing that video. Because now we know what you're about. So now, because I think I watched the I'm gonna try to say his name the best I can. I think it was GMS Vegas sits down, 144. Oh yeah. He did a video and he was like, this is a bad example, but really I take it as it's a good example. It shows you how not to be like that, how not to speak like that. Scriptures tell you how to speak as a man and things like that, how to conduct yourself. If you think about when you read, I think it's the book of Hebrews, it talks about Yahushua, who's the author and finisher of our faith. If you read like the subtitle in the blue letter, it says Yahushua the example. Now, was Yahushua talking like that about his father, calling his father the nigga God or something like that?
Yeah, he'll come back. Maybe it's his phone died. Something.
Did any of the disciples ever talk like that? You gotta read the scripture and say, hold on. Did Paul ever speak like that? Did Paul tell Timothy to speak like that? No. So why is it coming out of these men's mouth to speak like that, man? But these are men of reprobate mind.
You got it. Keep going.
Oh no, that's it.
All right. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
God, water.
Mm-hmm. All right, get back into it. Second chapter. Let's also get Isaiah 3. We'll come right back to that.
Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king.
See, so there's some context right there telling you what time period he was in. All right, go on. And we know Artaxerxes was a real person. All right.
That wine was before him, and I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you know that this really got to Nehemiah, because as a king's cupbearer, when you're in the presence of the king, you always want to, put on that as if you're good. Even if you're not good, you got to show that you're here, you're ready to do your job. Not that your mind is somewhere else, you all heard about something. Because the king might look, first off, negative energy is contagious. And people don't like to be around people that have that negative down energy. So especially now the king, here it is, he's feeling nice. He wants some yayan. You coming up, all that, you don't want to see that, But the thing is, the Lord put the spirit on Artaxerxes to like Nehemiah. So when he saw this right here, go ahead.
Because he says, chapter 1, verse 11, it says, O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants, who desire to fear thy name, and prosper, I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man.
That's it.
So that was the mercy that, his prayer was answered.
Yeah, just like Esther had mercy, So really, them Edomites, I mean, they were bad, but they're gonna have it less bad than Esau. Esau, he's just gonna get the worst of it. We're just gonna wake up, and the number one heathen we're gonna want to get on is gonna be the Edomites, and we're gonna have the rank, because you know what? We're gonna remember everything, and we're gonna remember the captivities under each different nation what it was like. But you Edomites did the most atrocious things, and so you're gonna get it worse. Maybe we're gonna make some Elamites and some Ishmaelites taskmasters over you, but them Ishmaelites they gonna get it too. Right?
They even mentioned that in, I think it's First Ezra, fourth chapter, like 42, 43, 42, 42, 44, where it talks about the Edomites helped the Babylonians burn down Jerusalem. Also, I forgot what book it is, but it says, "Thou shalt not look on thy brother in the day of his when he was down."
Yeah, but stranger, I think that's Obadiah.
Right. So the Lord's gonna actually allow us to see how the Edomites was helping the Babylonians take us down. We're gonna say, "Oh, this motherfucker, right? You see that shit?"
You know, it's like when you watch those slave movies. When you watch those slave movies, you get pissed off, and sometimes you forget that it's actors. So you might see that, you might look at the guy in the movie, and based on the role he's playing, you might want to grab him. You know, but in the kingdom, when we're able to play back these things in our heads, we're actually going to be able to know which Edomite spirit it was that did X, Y, and Z. So we ain't going we gonna grab the right person. You might be working on the field, and you can see a chariot hover above your ass, and you wondering, oh shit, what's going on now? You find yourself teleported to some torture room somewhere to pay for some judgment. See, the thing is, just like the Lord got so much on us that what he did to Job was justified. Because guess what? The scriptures say, whoever perished being innocent. I think that's what Job's friend was telling Job, right? Pretty much like, you have to have done something. God does not just, get at people for no reason. Now, even though in that lifetime, Job was a man that escheweth evil, it's not without saying that in the past life, he might have done some wickedness. So the Lord has something on him, just like in the kingdom, we're going to have lots of things on Edomites. So we can get up one day and grab up an Edomite and just put some judgment on his ass for something that he did before. You got to pay for it. Because your sins, remember this, your sins are not tracked by your flesh or your incarnations. Your sins are tracked by your spirit. All right? That's why you sometimes come down. Matter of fact, when you die, it tells you that in 1 Corinthians. Matter of fact, let's get that. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. The Apostle Paul mentions that. When you die, you go to the spirit world. You don't go as a body, you go as a spirit. And that spirit gets judged. You get your judgment sentence, right? For what you did while you were in that body. So it's your spirit that has the judgments following it. So when the Lord sees your spirit, he sees all the negatives and all the positives over all the different incarnations that you've been on the planet Earth. And that's why Revelation tells you about the prophets that their works do follow them. So regardless of how many times they've been on the earth, their works are attributed to their spirit. This spirit did X, Y, and Z.
So it's kind of like how your name precedes you. Like how everything that you do, when you everything that you do, it follows with your name. So like if people see you, like, oh, like, let's just use King David. King David was a righteous king and he was a good king. So like, oh, I know about you, King David. I know all the things that you do. Your reputation precedes you. So it's the same thing like your brother saying, when you go up there in the heavens, what? Your reputation precedes your spirit. So everything follows your spirit. So whether that be good or bad, like you read in the book of Corinthians, it's going to follow you. It's like, okay, if you've done right in your life, you're going to come back and Lord's will, if you're a prophet, you're going to have that reward. If you're wicked, you're going to partake, get that judgment.
Right. So when we catch these Edomites in the kingdom, guess what? We're going to be justified. You might think, oh shit, I just came in this lifetime. I didn't do anything wrong. Then we're going to point you to all the different generations. We might even go back to the garden. Yeah, remember this time, nigga? Tie his ass up. Bring out the water. We're going to waterboard this nigga. And bring it, jog his memory again. Then light his ass on fire. Then bring him back and do it again.
Wait, read. This is Amos chapter 1, verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, so that's the Lord just reminding us that he's definitely going to keep the punishment due to Esau and Edom for being the way that they was toward their brother, who was whom? Jacob. All right, and the perpetual hate that they have, the anger, he said it's not going to tear away forever. All right, so they're gonna be that way until the day of their demise. They're gonna be planning and plotting against us, you know. So the Lord definitely put a reminder in there, and this chapter is for all the nations too, it's not just Esau, you know. But the Lord definitely got a sentence, a verdict is in for them.
Yeah, that reminds me of that scene from that X-Men movie. I forget exactly which one it was, but it had the young Magneto, and basically he he went and found these government officials, and they were hiding in this bunker. It was underground, and it was like some metallic, strong ass bunker. And he just, he's levitating and shit. He just grabs that, pulls it up, slams it down with just his hand. Boom, opens the door, and there they are in there, looking all scared and shit. Please don't hurt us, type shit. Guess what? That's how we're gonna grab you, Edomite. So it doesn't matter where you are. You're just making more fun. We're gonna find wherever you are, and we're gonna grab your asses up, and you're gonna wish we're the ones that you gotta deal with. We're gonna take you to your house shot. Like whenever they show you in movies and cartoons, when in the future you have some humans that end up going and crash landing on some other planet, and what happens? They get found out, they catch them, they tie them up, and then they take them to the leader. Right? And then they say, oh shit, what the hell is going to happen to us? We don't understand what they're saying. And then they take them to the leader, and they hear the leader saying something in a different language. And more than likely, the leader's sitting on some throne or something, maybe with a staff or something. And then he's speaking in another language, and they're like, oh shit. And you got that one Edomite that just try to be diplomatic and shit. They like, probably slap his ass up, But pretty much that's what's going to happen. We're gonna grab you up, and we're going to bring you to your house shot. Shit. Just imagine that, looking at your house, and really you're gonna be looking at a God, He ain't gonna be down here looking at you. He's gonna be looking down at you, looking down at your ass. Who the fuck are you? So you're gonna have the elites of Edom and the elites of Israel. And man, boy, I tell you, the gap difference is gonna be so vast. Because for you to see, wait a minute, you are the top Edomite, and you see in your Hawashai, it's gonna be incomparable. You're gonna have them freckles on his bald head, his old weak ass and shackles and shit, looking up, red and shit. Here it is, Jacob Rothschild, whoever it is. And you're gonna have your Yahushai in the power and glory and the might, just standing there. Boom. What the fuck? Who the hell is this guy? You the guy that was talking all that smack? Them Yuval Noah Hararis and them Klaus Schwabs and all of that? And you thought you could go up against him?
And they always depict the elite as looking like an old shriveled up man because they know that that's all they are.
Yeah.
What's the guy name on it? The Simpsons. Mr. Burns. I said Smithers. Mr. Burns looks like he has his foot in the grave already. But he's controlling like the whole Springfield, the whole damn town.
Yep.
But he's weak as hell, man.
Yeah. And then the real Jacob, he's gonna be there. He's gonna you talking about you Jacob? That's the real Jacob, So hey, that time is gonna be, man. I mean, the day of Yahushai's return is gonna be one heaven of a day. One hell of a day and one heaven of a day. All in one. All right, get back into that.
Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 2. It says, wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick?
So right there, right? Now, we got the history as to what led up to this, but now the whole point was, remember, the word countenance, all right? That's when we jump back to Isaiah 3. So the word countenance, the king said, why is that countenance sad? Meaning, why was Nehemiah's appearance? Why did he look sad? Why did he look down? Right? So now let's jump back to Isaiah 3 and 9 and go back and deal with that word countenance.
This is Isaiah 3 and 9. The show of the countenance doth witness against them.
See, the show of their countenance doth witness against them. As a matter of fact, in this society, they don't hide that they're sodomites. You can look and see a sodomite from 10 miles away. You can hear them from the way they walk, to the way they just look. A dude doesn't even have to open his mouth, and you can tell this guy's a sodomite. Just looking at him from the way he even sounds, or his face, his mannerisms, the way he moves his hands, the way he blinks, all of those things you can tell straight up. But in this society, you got dudes that walking around with super 10 feet long eyelashes with their lips painted and probably like green hair and shit, you know? So it bears witness against them. One.
And they declared their sin as Sodom.
And they declared their sin as Sodom. So you can tell this guy's a straight up sodomite, and he doesn't even have to open his mouth, but his whole energy, just this demeanor and everything, just declares it all. One.
They hide it not.
They hide it not. So that's why they're proud about it. They move about openly acknowledging that they're sodomites and demons, and that they need to be destroyed. But that part, whenever you mention that part, you're the villain.
Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves.
They rewarded evil unto themselves. You get mad at us, we ain't gonna touch you. We want to put our fingers on you. But you have rewarded evil unto yourself, because the Most High is going to bring judgment on your ass. All right? And that's what's being promoted here in this society. And openly as well. So what is all of this going to lead to? Well, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? When the angels came to Abraham, what did they say? They said, well, we here because we got a job to do. What's our job? We got to go destroy Sodom, the cities, the 5 cities over there. And that's when Abraham, because of Lot, tried to plead for them, right? Trying to plead for Lot. But the point is, they said the cry of the city is going up to the heavens, and they came to see whether it was so. So more than likely, whose cry was that? Lot. Saying, damn. Matter of fact, can we find out? Is in Lot vexed with the filthy countenance, the just, righteous Lot vexed with the filthy countenance, and the wicked. I think it's Peter. Yeah. So Lot was vexed daily, having to see and hear these things. And I'm sure he was praying against it. But the angels came down and said, yo, the time is up. Their measure of wickedness is filled. And now it's time to bring them down as an example. So guess what? The measure of wickedness here is filled and it's overflowing. And now it's time for this place to come down.
2 Peter 2:6, this is an NLT. It says, later, the Most High condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah and turned them into heaps of ashes. He made them an example of what will happen to ungodly people. But the Most High also rescued Lot out of Sodom because he was a righteous man who was sick of the shameful immorality of the wicked people around him.
There you go. Aaron, yes, son?
No. I was gonna bring out that precept, but he already got it, so that's good.
That's it. That's it. So as it says, he was sick of it. So he had to have been making complaints. And all those cries went up. And the Lord is like, no, you got to take this place out, man. This shit is completely off. See? So that's what the Lord is going to do in this time again. This is Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. And the Most High is going to take it out. Now let's go to the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, because that chapter is the taking out of this place. Yep.
This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils.
Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, which also lines up with what? Matter of fact, let's go there real quick. Isaiah 13, and you can start at maybe the 15th verse. Jump down at 17. 17 all the way down. See, that vision that Isaiah saw in there is the same thing that John another way. What? Huh? Yeah.
Isaiah 13 and 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
Which are today is the modern day Russians. Against who? Babylon, America. Go ahead.
Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
So silver and gold are used for treaties. They're used to appease. So what it's saying here is that the Russians ain't gonna want to hear that, right? Go on.
Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces.
Now their bows are referring to the missile silos. What comes out of the missile silos? The missiles. And those are gonna come in. They're gonna destroy this place with the individuals.
Right. Also, too, very soon, according to the plans of these wicked elites, all right, very soon they're going to declare a draft in this country. And pretty much all these countries that are part of the UN and the World Health Organization, who are all part together with the World Economic Forum, they're going to declare a draft, all right, and a lot of you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American men who are wicked, you're going to end up in that draft. All right, a lot of things that how they're going to get a lot of people because they know a lot of people don't want to join the military. That's why they're going to have to declare the draft because they don't have enough people to go and fight, right? So what they're going to do is you got a lot of people who are in prison. They're going to train you and send your ass overseas, all right? And then a lot of people who owe taxes and you're in a lot of debt. Your ass is going to go overseas, man. You know, and that comes with a lot of women. They're going to be drafted. All right, a lot of you women think that everything is just sweet and everything is just going to be always good, and the system always going to take care of you. And you don't need no man, and you don't need no structure, you don't need no discipline in life. Guess what? They're going to come around your ass up, and they're going to send your ass overseas, man. All right, lately, you know what's crazy? Lately, a lot of people that I know who are in the military, all right, they're going on military duty. You know, they're regular jobs, but they're going on military duty right now for whatever reason. You know, some of them are in the National Guard. All right, some of them are actually in the Navy. Some of them are in the Marines. All right, I know a lot of people that I work with. They all leave work. Some of them 2 weeks, some of them a month, some of them 2 months. You know, depending on whatever they're doing. But something is definitely brewing in the background, and that's why all of a sudden they got all these trainings. So we gonna keep an eye out, but it's just something that just hit me in the spirit. Just want to share that.
Gone. That's right. So hey, and the scriptures the water. Yep, the scriptures prophesy of that. All right, about the men being sent to war and the women and the virgins not having any helpers. So they're gonna send a lot of dudes out of here to their death, and a lot of people gonna be here defenseless. So yeah, it's gonna be one crazy ass time, man. One crazy ass time. Let's get that.
And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb.
Which are what? The children. The fruit of the womb are children, offspring. Go ahead.
Their eye shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms.
Meaning at one point, this place was looked at as the city to be in, the country to come to, the American dream, the glory of kingdoms. Go ahead.
The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency.
Which the Chaldees represent, they represented the higher class or the elites of the Babylonians. Okay, so the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, America was looked at as the protege of the elites. You know, the booming, whatever they call that, booming, whatever, where everything was doing all good and shit. Everybody wanted to come here. This was that place that had that superpower status and all of that. All that is going to be gone. Right?
Shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
So what happened when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah? The land was destroyed. And it didn't take days. It was completely destroyed with fire and brimstone. That's what's going to happen to this place. Except this time it's going to be with nuclear missiles and lasers from the chariots. Go ahead.
It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation.
So once this place is destroyed, nobody's going to move back in here and try to live here and rebuild society. That's it. It's done. One and done. Go on.
Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there.
Yep.
Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Yeah. When you pitch a tent, you basically, like a nomad, is on the move. Now I mentioned the Arabians because in the ancient world they did a lot of traveling. So they were, like the merchantmen. So they were constantly on the move, on their camels and whatnot. And obviously you can't be on the move 24/7. Every so often you got to stop, set up your tent, you rest there for a while, you camp there for a while, and then you keep on going. So what it's saying here is the Arabian is not going to pitch tent here, meaning this land is not going to be inhabitable. Nobody's going to be able to set up a habitation over here, right?
But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there.
Neither shall the shepherd make their fold there, because meaning when you got a shepherd with sheep, you have a sheepfold, which is the area like almost like a pen that you would keep the sheep in. But it's saying here that once again, it's to emphasize the fact that this place is going to be uninhabitable. With the sheer number of missiles and radiation that's going to be in this land, it's going to be over. Okay? Which eventually is going to die down, because that's how the desert creatures are going to be able to live here. Go on.
But wild beasts of the
Finish that verse.
but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there,
Mhm.
and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures,
So, creatures, yep.
and owls shall dwell there,
Let's go to the same verse. Yeah. Okay, finish it.
and satyrs shall dance there.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a precept, I believe a verse or two up that you read, that what the Lord said that He's not going to have pity upon them. Right? If you could bring that back real quick, because again, that emphasizes the kind of anger the Lord has. When He says, "I will not have pity on you," that means that I'm bringing the whole heat. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing the whole building down crashing on you. You know?
Yep.
If you could bring that back real quick.
Verse 18, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children.
There you go. That's the same thing that the Lord said in Ezekiel 9 and 4 and 5. Right? I'm going to get this real quick. This is a book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, starting at verse 25. It says, "Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none."
Mhm.
Right? So when the time of trouble comes, that's when people naturally start looking for refuge. It's just a natural thing. You know, in a state of emergency, panic, and they're looking for some solace. Where do we go? You know, at that point, whoever seems to be in control of themselves and know where they're going, that's who everybody's going to follow. You know, somebody who starts taking charge and saying, "Yo, everybody be quiet. I know a place." Just go ahead and say that shit. You know, imagine some shit go down and say, "I know a place, come with you. You know, it has food and water." Yo, everybody gonna come in. You know, where is it? Where? And they're gonna see all the women coming after you.
Yep.
You see, but the Lord said, "What? Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none." Right? Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet. Right? That's when people gonna start looking for the brothers in GMS. You know, yo, they were saying this, yo, yo, these other camps telling us, "Oh, it's not this, it's not that," yo. They said, "Damn, what do we do?" Right? Guess what? It says, "But the law shall perish from the priest, and the counsel from the ancients." All right, and that's going to tie in perfectly with what Amos 8:11. All right, when the Lord makes a famine, all right, come upon the land, pretty much you're not going to be able to access any form of truth. Okay, every day is going to be what? Misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, you know, all kinds of crazy shit Esau's going to put out there, right? Because what's going to be happening soon? It's going to be all false flags and propaganda and shit. They don't want us, you know, telling people what's really going on, you know? So they're going to wipe all this truth off the internet, right? Blindfold everybody. And then those who can still see, they're going to try to eliminate us. That's when the Lord's going to start fighting for us, man. You know, so we're close to that time, man. Very, very close to that time. All right, you got it.
That's it. That's it. So that's how this place is going to be made a heap, and that's why the angel was saying Babylon is fallen. It is fallen, because that was the time of this place's destruction. That was it. Revelation 18. America had been burnt up. Okay, go on. No, that's you.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
So the unclean animals, the unclean spirits, they're going to be here in this side. Okay, after the destruction of this place and the fire dies down. Go on.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Yeah, so they got into bed with her, right? By accepting certain trade deals and certain, you know, matter of fact, one example is, once again, Kamala Harris going over there to them Western, you know, some African countries. What they try to do is they try to say, look, we're gonna give you X, Y, and Z aid or this amount of money so long as you do this. Okay, and that's how they get into those agreements. They sign an agreement, but behind the scenes, there are certain stipulations that say we will give you this amount of money, right? And in return, you have to do this, that, and the third. Matter of fact, there's the something called the Kissinger depopulation agenda or policy, where I think it was Henry Kissinger, but basically they will go to a lot of these other countries, these so-called third world countries, and tell them, look, the birth rates are too high and the death rates are too low. You gotta do something about that. Okay, start implementing mechanisms, start pushing more contraceptives on the people, and start finding ways to start cutting down the numbers. All right, reducing the births and increasing the deaths. Open up them Planned Parenthoods, give them Plan Bs and all of that. And if you don't do that, we're gonna come up in there and do it ourselves. We're gonna from the inside orchestrate a civil war or a famine or some chaos like that, and we're gonna come in there and we're gonna mow you down to cut down that population. So there's actually a certain number that they give these people and tell them, look, you got to keep your population within this range. If not, we're gonna come see you. All right. Show you how wicked they are. So that's an example of the fornication, all right, of the different agreements they have with one another in order to continue to go about. But a lot of the things they have to do in return for that aid or for that alliance or whatever it is, a lot of those things are off. It's a negative agenda.
Verse 3 again. Revelation chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Yeah, because the merchants of the earth, merchant meant sell things. They buy and sell things, but they mainly sell things. So a lot of these merchantmen or a lot of these manufacturers are likened onto merchants, because you have certain countries that are richer in other things, certain resources, certain material. And what do? They produce a lot of this and they export it, meaning they send it out of the country. And then you have countries that need these things that import it. All right. And these importers are consumers. They make these merchants rich. So countries that specialize in certain cars, guess what? When you have Americans that are saying, yo, I want this car, I want that car, they import that over here. And that's making those countries richer. Liking onto the merchants that sell their products. And because America has such a large consumer base, a lot of America's a large importer of a lot of things. A lot of things they cannot A, manufacture here, or B, grow here. So they have to import it in. A lot of your orders that you get off of Amazon, those are overseas that they bring them in here. So that's how the merchants are made rich, because this place is pretty much filled with consumers.
Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins.
So this is a vision that the Apostle John is seeing. And he's saying, I saw this, I saw that, I heard this. And it's not always that everything he saw was in chronological order. What he's saying is, at one point, this is what I saw. Then at another point, this is what I saw. And then this is what I saw. So at this point, he heard a voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Probably could have been in Hebrew. More than likely it was in Hebrew, wasn't in English, right? So come out of her, my people, go on, that ye be not partakers of her sins. So what was going to be the plague for her sins? The fire. So what else did the Apostle John see? He saw the elect getting beamed up. Because how would the elect avoid being partakers of the sins of America? By first arising and departing mentally, but then physically arising and departing. Reset. Yep.
Matthew 24 and 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So that's when Yahweh Shai comes back. He's going to come with the heavenly host. In the scriptures, they refer to as clouds, sometimes horses, chariots. We know they're so-called spaceships, the vehicles that the angels are going to be driving. It says that the tribes of the earth shall mourn. So yeah, the other nations they're going to mourn because they're going to know their time is up. And the wicked of our people, they're going to be likened unto the heathen in that day. They're going to be mourning too. It says, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So we ain't gonna have to get a passport and go to the land of Israel to get delivered. The Lord is going to deliver you if you're of the elect from wherever you at. You could be in Alaska, you could be in Florida, you could be in the most remote island that nobody knows about. And if you're of the Lord's elect, the Lord is not going to forget about you. Oh, I missed one. No, all of the elect is going to be gathered, just like referencing Revelation 18. That they went up, talking about the deliverance when Yahweh Shah takes the elect up into the chariots.
That's right. Hey, the scripture said that the Lord knows the how much hair is on everybody's head. How's he gonna forget his elect? You know? Oh, forgot. Ah, shit, damn. Oh no, you burn them up. Oh shit. Hold on. Go back in time. Go back in time. Look at that. No, the Most High don't do that. All right. He doesn't have. Oh, he doesn't. Number one, the Most High doesn't second guess himself. Okay. And number two, he doesn't make mistakes. There are no such things as mistakes with the Most High. We are men. And as a matter of fact, we may make a mistake, but it's really not a mistake. It was always meant to be. You know? Shows you the power of the Lord, right? Everything he does is he meant to do it. Every single thing that he does. Calculated, precise. And it shows you how weak we've become. But guess what? When we get changed, we're going to be like that. Everything we do, everything we think and calculate is going to be precise. 100%. Not 99.9999. No, 100%. Everything. Your face is going to be 100% perfect. Your skin is going to be 100% perfect. Your cuticles are going to be 100% perfect. The amount of electrons and protons and neutrons and the atoms that make up your body are going to be 100% perfect. What?
Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven.
Yeah, just like the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah reached unto heaven. So it's become so much that it is bubbled up to where it reached the heavens. And the Lord is like, all right, time to go. You know, you got to go. And we're going to rejoice in that day. Oh, man, that day is going to be man. It's going to be that day, man. It's going to be that day.
Right.
It's going to be that day. You got it.
And the Most High have remembered her iniquities.
He has remembered her iniquities all the way from the start. Go on.
Reward her even as she rewarded you. And double unto her, double according to her works.
So you're really in some trouble, because what the Lord is going to do is he's going to show you a mirror of all the things you've done, and then he's going to do it times 2. Man, that's good luck surviving that. Because see, Edomites are weak. Edomites are weak. They've always been given a handicap. They've always been given an advantage because the Lord needed them to do something. But if it's bear to bear, Edomites are weak as shit. You know? And so how the hell are they going to handle the things that we went through? We're naturally built to be tough, mentally, physically. A lot of them, that's why they had to put that sodomite spirit on Israelites, you know. But Edomites are weak. They can't handle pain. They can't handle suffering. You put a little bit of stress. Notice how a lot of these like top individual CEOs and bosses and whatnot, whenever their stocks start doing bad or something is going negative in a company, immediately they lose their minds. They get stressed, you know. Their hair's all messed up. Man, you walk into one of their offices the day the stock market is tanking. You know what you're gonna see? You're gonna see his blazers on his shirt. His tie has been halfway loose. His purse, his upper button is open. His hair's all messed up. He looks like he's sweating bullets, you know. And the papers are scattered on his desk. And what you gonna do? You go, boom. What? You know? That's what they're gonna look like. And above all else, he's gonna be red as shit.
That's precisely the spirit of Esau, because when he came from the forest, right, from hunting, and then he was hungry. What was Jake doing? Jake was chilling, you know, making a simmer, you know. He's taking his time, you know. Hey, the elder Desire says, you know, let that cook 18 hours, 20 hours, you know, get that perfect texture and everything. So Jake was taking his time. But Esau don't do that. Esau come in, talk about steak tartare, you know, medium rare, you know, shit like that. It's like, yo, man. So he came in on some like, bro, come on, can I eat right now? He's like, yo, bro, it's not even ready. I just put this shit on. He been like, he's 10 minutes. He said, yo, I'm dying. Please, come on. He's still you a devil. You see? And that's the same thing they're trying to do now. Because we got the birthright by food. They're trying to also get it back. That's not going to work. All right? That's not going to work. But you got it.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. See if you can find that where it talks where Esau came in. He was famished, and all that. Because really, but that was Jacob's moment to supplant him. That was Jacob's moment to supplant him. Now, I mean, the Lord put that spirit in his mind. Maybe Rebecca whispered something into his ears. You never know. She was like that. Her name means ensnarer. So he is supplanter. Her name is ensnarer. And the father's name is laughter. Got it?
This is Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Now, and the boys grew is like a part of a sentence. But do you know that span of time was over, it was a good, decent amount of years. But the scriptures just characterize that as, and the boys grew, right? So when you, like to us in our time, it's not every single 2 seconds that something is happening. Like right now, we're going on, you may say, what's it? I forgot, what was the pandemic? That shit was 2019?
Yeah.
Right. So 2019, now prior to that, you may have gone back, maybe what's the other major event that happened? Maybe Trump got elected 2016, right? So if that's being recorded in the scriptures, it's not necessarily going to record every single event that happened every day of your life up until, no, it's going to hit the major events. See? So, and Trump got elected, and then after such and such time, then one day this happened. But whenever it says that such and such time, that's actually that could be 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. So sometimes you hear, and the word of the Lord came on to me the second time. That might have been 10 years from the first time the word of the Lord came to you. So what was the prophet doing within those 10 years? Was he on top of a tree somewhere, sitting at the very pinnacle of the tree, hovering on his right pinky toe while his left leg is crossed up in the air? Trying to master the ways of no, that's not what he was doing. They were living their regular lives. So let's read that again.
Verse 20, Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
So Esau was good at hunting. He had them skills, he could probably, wherever it is, knowing what animals eat what grass, where he should be at what time, knowing how to lay low in the grass and shit, probably laying all the way down. So that's why when you deal with a lot of these military dudes, a lot of Edomites, when they have the camouflage on and they have to hide and shit, they're good at that. They go down, they crawl. Catch them playing Call of Duty. This guy's playing like he's in the real. Then they crawling. They get behind you. You don't even know how that dude been behind you 5 minutes. Dancing around, showing. Then they be doing that squat shit. They got the gun to your head. Gun to your head. Then they take out the knife. Then they play around and shit. And then when you turn around, and they stab your ass. So they're good at that little stealth shit. So Esau being a cunning hunter, being a hunter involves a lot of traits. You got to have a good sense of smell. You got a good sense of hearing, timing. You got to be able to track an animal, knowing what the prints look like. You got to know what to look for, where to be at what time.
Right? Good at setting the snare.
Good at setting the snare. Yep. So guess what? That's what he does to hunters now. Go on.
A man of the field.
A man of the field. There you go. So that's why they're good at that. They're good at being in the field. But that's good. Because in the kingdom, that's the only place you're going to be. In the field. And we're going to make the sun extra hot. Them days going to feel twice as long for you. All right?
And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in the tents.
So meaning Jacob was he's an ordinary dude, man. He wasn't no super extraordinary guy. Yeah. He was an ordinary dude, but what it means, obviously he was extraordinary in the spirit. He wrestled an angel. But ordinary meaning he wasn't doing that extra shit. He do what he has to do, but like a regular dude. I'm not always out. Where's Esau? Oh, he's out hunting again. But that's why Isaac loved him, because he always came home with that good meat. He probably came home with a roll on his shoulder and shit. You know, he drops that thing, and then the maids get to work. So and maybe, hey, Isaac clearly loved the venison that he made. See, so Isaac is probably telling Jacob, you gotta be more like like your brother. What you doing? You just sit at home all day?
Like Jake today.
That's it. Go ahead.
And Isaac loved Esau.
Hear that? Isaac loved Esau because at that time, these were going to be the progenitors, all right, of these two nations. But at the time, they were sons. To Isaac, they were his sons. Okay? So he's like, these are both my sons, but I love Esau. Meanwhile, the Most High said he hates Esau. Go ahead.
Because he did eat of his venison.
Go. He ate of that venison. So he was doing extra productive stuff. And Isaac was like, that's good. Right? Go on.
But
Hey, but
Rebecca,
that's also showing you something real quick. That shows you that, you know, the love that Isaac had for Esau wasn't because, oh, you know, you're my favorite son, or I love you so much because you're this. And no, I just like because you hunt and bring some good venison. Because he said because of that.
That's it.
Damn, that's sad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Esau has always felt left out. He's always felt less than. You know, and that's why, hey, in the kingdom, like you said, you're gonna really feel that. You're gonna really feel that less than spirit. Really gonna feel that.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna really understand what it feels like to be a bitch. All right, because that's exactly who you are, what you are, and that's what you're gonna make it feel better. All right, got it.
That's it. Hey, Job said they that are younger than I, right? Which the younger going into insignificant. You know, at least among the heathen. Once again, the insignificant. Go ahead.
and Jacob sawed pottage.
Hmm?
And Esau came from the field.
Which, when you go into that word, it goes into lentils. Okay, like red lentils. So what he was doing was he what?
He sawed pottage.
He sawed it, right? Sod. When something is sodden, it's cooked, it's boiled. All right, you put it in a nice pot. So he was basically cooking that stew, that pottage, that lentils. Go on.
And Esau
I'm sure he knew how to cook. Go on.
and Esau came from the field.
Hmm?
And he was faint.
So he came back from hunting. He's hungry as shit. He's tired and he's thirsty. Go on.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
Yeah. So that same. Can we look into that real quick? What verse is this? The blue letter.
29 30.
Oh yeah. 29 and what?
Or 30, the book of pottage.
26 and what?
29 and 30.
Okay, 26 and 29, or 26 and 30. And let's look into the word
29.
29 and 30.
Yeah.
Okay, 29 and 30.
Oh,
Let's
sorry.
look at the word pottage. 29 and 30?
I mean 20. Wait,
What verse is it?
the chapter is 25 and the verse is 29.
Okay, 25 and 29. Or 25 and 30.
That's pottage, right?
Yep.
It excludes pottage. You see,
What verse is that?
29, it says pottage. Yeah, it says pottage. The word is nazayat.
Mhm.
And it says boiled food, soup, pottage, things sodden or boiled. Pottage of lentils, yeah. 34 says bread and pottage of lentils.
There you go. Let's read that. It's the same word for pottage there, right? So it's basically like a soup or a stew or something of that effect. Like I said?
Yeah, just the Google translation, Google definition for pottage says soup or stew.
Soup or stew. So the pottage that Jacob was making was not uncooked meat. Okay, it wasn't like raw meat, it was stew.
A little bit more, it says a kind of thick broth made with vegetables and meat or stew.
Yep, and it would make sense, right? Made with vegetables or meat or stew. So he was making like a stew. That's what Jacob was making, right?
Real quick, it says in the 34th verse, the word for pottage of lentils, it says
Hey, that's
adash.
slacking. That's heavy because when you go into even the restaurants, right? When you go to an Edomite restaurant compared to a Jake restaurant, the food that you're gonna see a lot more soups and meats and stew and all that compared to an Edomite restaurant. It's just gonna be, you know, they're gonna have vegetables and they got fruits on the side and they got some. Yeah, it's cool and all, it's healthy and all, but it don't look as good as if you walk into it. You know what I'm saying? It don't smell as good. as we walk into a Jake restaurant, whether it be Northern Kingdom or Southern Kingdom, you walk in, you be like, damn, and they set it up nice. You know, you see this, you know, they got this kind of meat here, they got that kind of meat, and you be like, yo, every step of the way, it's like, yo, this, I want a piece of everything that's here. You know, when you go to an Esau restaurant, you can pick. Now I'm gonna just take this. The rest I don't want. That's like
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. They got the weirdly named foods and shit. When you go to them Jake restaurants, you got this kind of stew, this rice, that rice, white rice, plain rice, Haitian rice, fried rice, orange rice, brown rice, black rice. Damn. You know what I'm saying? They got it all on there. They got the stew on the top of the stew and then the soup in the back and all. Yeah. Matter of fact, the store we be going to, they always trying to offer a soup. Oh yeah. You want some soup with that? Some soup. Got some soup for you. Like, yo, it's all good, man. All right. You got any more?
So in the 34th verse instead, it says that Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils.
Mhm.
And that word for lentil, obviously it says lentil, but it's idash and it says lentil.
Into it. Yep. And that brother went into it, right? So now let's go back to that you were reading over there. 29.
Genesis 25 and 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me,
Mhm.
I pray thee, with that same red pottage,
Mhm.
for I am faint.
Mhm.
Therefore was his name called Edom.
Mhm.
And Jacob said,
So his name was called Edom or red. So really, Esau is his actual name. Edom was a name given to him because of that. They called him Edom because of that. Because of that red pottage. Because the word Edom is Adawam, which is red. Okay? And that's why he's like, give me that thing. Give me that red pottage. Go ahead. Therefore, it's his name called Edom. That's why I think it's in Genesis 36, it says Esau who is Edom, or it's vice versa like that. That's it. So really, oh shit. Edomites are really the red people, descendants of the red, if you really think about it. And technically that's what they are. Their blood shows forth through their skin. So they're the red people.
Or wasted away, father of red people.
That's it. All right, Joshua. Go on.
verse 31.
Real quick,
What you got?
I just want to bring out that precept that you quoted.
Mhm.
Genesis. It's funny because spiritual. Genesis chapter 3, Genesis 36, right? 3:6, 6:6, right? It says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Right? So Genesis the 36th chapter goes into Edom.
That's it.
Right? Verse 8, it says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, period. All right?
Mhm.
But it's interesting how the Spirit had it, whereas it's 36, which is 3, and then 6, 3, 6, 6, 6, you know, which is the number of the name, which is the number of the beast, you know, the number of the man.
That's right. And it says he's Esau who is Edom. So Esau who is red, but also Esau who is known as Edom. So the reason his name was called Edom was what verse is that you read?
30.
30. Can we look at Genesis 25 and 30 and maybe the NLT translation?
Yeah.
I want to hear how they word it.
Genesis 25 and 30 NLT. Esau said to Jacob, I'm starved. Give me some of that red stew. This is how Esau got his other name, Edom, which means red.
There you go. So the reason he got that name Edom was because of that event right there. So his actual name is Esau, but he's called Edom because of this event right there. Just like Jacob's name got changed to Israel because of the event where he wrestled the angel and the angel changed his name. Right? So let's go back into that.
Verse 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Mhm.
And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
It's to die for. Right? That's how the Edomite said. It's to die for. So really that's what he was saying. He said, it's to die for. There you go. You know, what do I need to sign? So his dumb ass, he basically despised the birthright in the sense that he took it lightly. Go on.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swear unto him.
So right there, you ain't if you swear, you gotta honor that, right? So Jacob said, I'm gonna supplant this nigga this day. I'm the youngest son, but I want that birthright. No, now like I'm saying, speculation, but Who knows? Maybe Rebecca could have, because it seemed like Isaac favored Esau because of that venison, but Rebecca favored Jacob. So it could she might whisper into his ears, you know, yo, you don't need to get something, get that, you know, because shit. Anyway, so like it says, he said, yo, give me that birthright. Sell me your birthright. Sell it to me. Sell it to me. You know, and he said, all right, cool, whatever. You know, and he said, swear on to me, because that's going to be the actual sale. Swear it on to me. Go on.
And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
Mhm.
Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils.
There you go. So after he swore unto him, he said, all right, here you go. Here's some bread. Here's some pottage. Enjoy it. You know? So Jake knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, so he's happy. He's like, I got it. I got it now. Maybe he went back to Rebecca and told her, I got it. You know?
That's what she came up. Yeah.
No, that's why she came in. We never know. We never know. Yeah, but that makes sense though, right? Go on.
And he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way.
And went his way. So he came back, he ate, he drank, he's nice and full. Hey, the water. And he goes, all right, the water to you too. You know, we all got what we wanted. Go on.
Thus Esau despised his birthright.
There you go. He despised the birthright because it's like, it's not, you know, matter of fact, can we look into that word, despise? All right, Hebrews 12 as well. All right, let's get that up. Let's see what it means by Esau, thus, meaning, so going forth, he despised his birthright. Let's see what that word means.
Thus despised.
There.
It says, Bazah. That's the word. H959.
Mhm.
And it says, to despise, hold in contempt, disdain.
His name. Uh-huh.
To despise, regard with contempt, to be despised, to be despicable, to be vile, worthless.
Okay. Now let's look at that verse in the NLT. See what it says.
It says, Genesis 25 and 34 in the NLT. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate the meal, then got up and left. He showed contempt for his rights as the firstborn.
Yep. So it goes to show you he didn't value it, you know, and whatever, you know, what is that to me? But he didn't realize that this right was that of everything. It wasn't just a regular right; it was everything. Let's see what you got.
And a quick point, it just goes to show you how much the Most High hates Esau, because we can always go back to the story and say, look at how close you were, and just for some lentils,
Oh,
you lost eternity. You idiot.
yeah. In the kingdom, we're just gonna point back to that. Remember when you did that for this lentils? You see what I'm eating right now in the kingdom? All this could have been yours, but you wanted some of them. I mean, damn, Jake must have been making some banging ass student. If it was worth that birthright. Shit.
Hebrews 12 and 16 in the NLT, it says, make sure that no one is immoral or godless like Esau, who traded his birthright as the firstborn son for a single meal. You know that afterward, when he wanted his father's blessing, he was rejected. It was too late for repentance, even though he begged with bitter tears.
That's it. So it was at that point he couldn't go back. You know, the blessing was already given to Jacob. And Isaac told him, I have nothing left. I already gave the blessing to your brother. I didn't know that it was him. I had a feeling, but I didn't know. So now it's his. I'm sorry. So Esau's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him then. You know, I'm just gonna have to kill him. Crazy ass nigga. You know, that's what Esau is. Matter of fact, let's go back into Genesis. Let's read a little bit more on that. Then we're gonna wrap it up.
Exodus.
Okay, drop that. Let's come back to yeah, back in Revelation 18.
Go ahead, Psalm 64 too. They never got that.
Yeah.
Psalm 64 and 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword.
The word whet is W-H-E-T, meaning to sharpen. They sharpen their tongue like a sword. which is really going into their legislations and all of these things. All right, dealing with Esau, Edom. Go on.
and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words,
Go on.
that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Yeah, so they don't. These elites, look. Whenever you see them throw out these these targets or these hits, they don't come directly after us. They do it secretly. So they shoot it in a way where it will. How do I say? If I want to target this person, but I don't want it to be known that I want to target this person, I'm gonna just target the whole area because I know that it's gonna hit this guy over here, but it's also gonna hit everybody else. So you can't tell who I was really aiming for. So that's what these devils try to do indirectly. You know, so they'll say, "Oh, we targeting white supremacy," but really they'll use tactics that'll say anybody that has any supremacist ideas, we gotta come for it. But the face is white supremacy, which is a lie. But they're hiding behind this, and secretly they're really aiming for us.
Like with the recent fumigation of the city. You know who they really want to get at is the men of the Lord. Everybody else gonna get caught in the cross of collateral damage.
But that's Esau's nature. You know, if they're looking for one person, they're gonna bomb the whole city to make sure they get that one person.
Psalm 64:4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
And who are the perfect? The perfect are the nation of Israel. But it starts with the elect. Go ahead.
Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter.
Yeah, so they don't fear the Most High. They don't fear the consequences. They don't fear the latter end. And they encourage one another. Go on.
They commune of laying snares privily.
Yeah, that's where these meetings come in. They're behind the closed door meetings about, okay, how can we get them? What ideas, what can we use? Oh, let's use a demic. Oh, let's use a disease. Oh, let's use famine. Oh, let's use this. Oh, let's use it all. You know? Go on.
They say, who shall see them?
Yeah, because in their minds, they got the most top security, top clearance, all of that. So who's gonna hold them accountable? Surely ain't us. Go on.
For me, it shows that those elites tying it to Esau, because remember what we just said, how Esau was a cunning hunter.
Yep.
And part of being a cunning hunter is laying those snares. Perfectly ties in with the elites being Esau.
Yeah, it says that a leopard shall watch over your cities.
I was going to mention, because the thing of a hunter is to also watch your prey. So think of it like this as well, right? Because we always say that they watch our videos, but really think about it. Like imagine they have their secret meetings and they watch this later on. They're gonna watch this live stream because I think about that when you want to know your enemy, like in football, right? You have something called watching film or watching tape.
Yeah.
You would watch the film of how the players would what type of formation they do. What type of plays that they like to run? What side do you like to run to the most? Their quarterback, who is his favorite receiver, things like that. So you watch what they call film or watch tape on the players. So it's the same thing with these videos that they could take this later and go into their secret meetings and watch it and say, okay, you see what they're doing? So this is how we're gonna come out. This is how we're gonna plan out. Okay, look at this guy. This guy is new. Okay, maybe we should set some spirits after him and try to get him out of there. You know, you watch film on your enemy.
Yep. They see the fire you coming with, they're like, all right, you guys see how to get this guy. And then they watch you while you're off camera. They watch you in your regular lives. They got people watching us all the time. They got people tapping into your phones, you know, and they're not always perfect. There's times when you're like, yo, what? It sounds like there's a third line on here. That there's a strange sound of an audio that's not you or the person you're talking to. So who the hell's on the third line? Like, nigga, we hear you. Oh.
I actually had that happen before. One time, my cousin, the one that the Lord used to bring me in the truth, him and I were speaking about the truth, and we heard a voice on the phone say, "Kill the niggers."
Yeah.
While we was, and then they said, "Cut the niggas off," something like that. And then he was like, "Cut the line, cut the line." But it sounded like they wanted to be heard. We were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you back, and then we called him back, and
then the line's all clear.
then it was clear again.
Yeah. So they got that technology. I mean, that's why it says that they're watching everything. It says there's no secret that they can hide from you because they got cameras and security. They got surveillance everywhere. And they put it in we got to go to Esau for the want of all things. So in the things that we want, he puts surveillance in it. From your TVs to your cars, to your phones, to your watches. These things he knows you're going to come to him for, and he's going to give you in return some surveillance so he can watch your ass. Go on.
They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
Yep.
They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
Yeah, so that's one thing they do. Like Vocab Malone, for example. Vocab Malone is number one, he's not an idiot. Okay, he's not just some random guy that's going about just for fun. He is adding structure. He's putting structure to this. The reason he's going to so many different Israelite groups, asking questions, who is Abba Bivens, who is Apostle Tahar, wait, what's the relationship between High Priest Ariah and this? Okay, so it really started with One West, a school called One West. They're doing all that so they can do that diligent search and understand everything that there is to know about this. If you go online and you type in Black Panthers or you type in some group in the past, you can find out so much information on it. How the hell did they do all that? Same thing they're doing now. Go on. Sending informants, to go amongst them and basically act like they're part of them and get information. That's what they do.
They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep.
Yep, their mind. Okay, when it comes to these wicked ideas that they think about. Go on.
But God shall shoot at them with an arrow.
Yeah, matter of fact, one example is the setting up of the Federal Reserve. Going back to Mayor Ansel-Bauer, that was the plan. And it was deep because that wasn't a 10-year plan or a 20-year plan. That was a plan for world domination all the way from back then. What?
Suddenly shall they be wounded.
Yep. So just Job 20, just when they think that they're at the top, pew pew, Lord God, he's gonna drop their ass.
So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
But you see a lot of whistleblowers, all right, them revealing the things that they're doing. That's their tongue falling upon themselves. Go on.
All that see them shall flee away.
Go ahead.
And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God.
Yep.
But
that starts with us. Go on.
For they shall wisely consider of his doing.
Yep.
The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh and shall trust in him. And all the upright in heart shall glory.
That's it. So anyway, that's pretty much it. We're going to end it here. Russ, got anything else? All right, cool. So with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Qadash. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom to the elect. Well, Yahweh Shemiyah Shabrak.
Yahweh Shemiyah Shabrak.
Yahweh Shemiyah Shabbat.